Hello, folks. Welcome to Scratch the Surface. I'm EJ Scott. Today I have two special guests, real-life married couple, Michelle Hurd and Garret Dillahunt. This was really, really cool to talk with both of them. I had planned an interview with Michelle, and on her way over, she said, "Hey, I'm bringing my husband, who I'm a fan of." She didn't write that. I'm saying that I was a fan of Garrett's, and I'd never met him before. So I was like, "Oh yeah, great!" And so I dragged him into the interview as well, and it's the first interview they've ever done together. That's what they said anyway, and it's Michelle's very first podcast, so a bunch of firsts. And I had so much fun talking with them, and we talked about lots of stuff. Before I get into that, I want to give myself a plug. Follow me on the Twitter at EJ Scott and at EJ Podcast. I have a website, ejscott.com. My Instagram's ejscott1106. I'm raising money for charity. Go to crowdrise.com/7on7. I did 12 marathons in 12 states in 2012, blindfolded, and it is. And it was a lot of it was recorded, and it was turned into a documentary called Running Blind. And for $2 or $3, you can own it or rent it on Amazon, Google Play, or iTunes. And I did that because I raise money for charity pretty often, and that's because I'm losing my eyesight to an eye disease called choroideremia, and it's degenerative and genetic. And I'm legally blind now. And my grandfather was blind. My brother has it. My two nephews have it. It's an eye disease that leads to blindness. So I'm losing my eyesight, and I did that to raise awareness and money. And it's a very well done and put together documentary by a guy I know named Ryan Suffern. And it's only about 30 minutes long. So if you had $2 or $3 and 30 minutes, it'd be worth checking out. So I hope you will. Thank you. And okay, so Garret and Michelle and we talk about tons and tons of stuff. All right, so I made a list. We talk a little about politics. We talk about how they met. We talk about theater, TV and film. Garret lost a sibling to a drunk driving accident, but that kind of led him to acting, and that was really interesting. How that happened. It's a sad story, but it's very interesting how he even said himself, "I wouldn't be here right now if that hadn't happened." So it was strange how things go. They chose not to have children. We talked about that. They live bicoastally, and they're both very busy working actors. So we talk about the challenges of spending so much time apart. They've both been on tons and tons of shows and movies. Michelle's been on Daredevil, Blindspot, Ash vs. Evil Dead. Garrett's been on Deadwood, Raising Hope, Mindy Project. We talk about some of that. Michelle, we talk challenges of being a woman of color in the acting world. We talk about how they got married in Italy and then got remarried in City Hall in New York. We talk about Bruce Campbell, Ike Barinholtz, and just so much more. We talk about a lot of stuff. I just re-listened to it actually, and it was so much fun to listen back to it. Really great couple, hugely talented people, and I hope you'll enjoy my talk with Michelle Hurd and Garret Dillahunt. All right, you guys ready?
I guess so. Sorry, baby. It's all good, baby. This is great. We've never done one before together.
Yeah,
never done any interviews together at all. I've never done a podcast. People have kept asking me, and I've just not been able to. And you're my first. Just so you know.
Thank you.
Yes.
What about you, Garret? Have you done podcasts?
I've
done
a couple podcasts.
A few.
They're good. You'll enjoy this. Yeah. I always enjoy them. So.
I'm like the worst. I'm the worst.
This is the worst podcast ever.
He's horrible.
Hey, I see you got the new Apple TV.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, that one, yes. Yeah. I thought you meant like, because I think Apple's making a TV.
I think you're right. Oh. I'm sure.
Do you like that thing though?
I do. You don't have Apple TV?
We just got it. And I haven't installed it, but notice
it's a game changer.
Like beyond having a smart TV,
it's a game changer.
Well, yeah, it's
there's more.
It's great because you could. It's like a hub for all your apps and stuff. We got rid of cable.
Wow. So you don't even have cable anymore. You just use that.
You just use Apple TV.
Imagine how much that would save us.
I know it would save us a lot of money.
You just need somebody's password and username for a cable.
Oh, that's what you did.
So I have my brother's, and so we use that. But you can pay for some of them are free, and then some of them you pay for like HBO. You can pay like $15 a month for or something like that.
So it still could add up to less.
It'll still add up to less.
I'm sure.
Like we pay for Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all those things. We maybe I don't know $50 a year. Or not a year, but
still
a month maybe.
Right, because we were paying some ridiculous amount.
Yeah, a couple $100, right?
$200 plus.
Yeah.
Well, that's with phone and internet.
Right, phone and internet, but still.
Minus cable would be a big.
Do you have a landline phone?
We do.
We do.
Oddly, I got rid of that.
I know we don't. No one needs it.
I got rid of that.
I know.
2017.
I know. I'm old school.
I know Trump's going to send us back to the old ages.
Oh my God! Don't even start me on him. Don't even start me. I can't.
I'm glad you guys are here. Let's talk Trump. Here we go.
My God! Are you kidding me? Oh my God! We got time?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my!
I got nothing but.
He's driving me crazy. We actually just went to see. I Am Not Your Negro last night, the James Baldwin piece. That. It's amazing. It's so, and it's just, the words that he says, I mean, it's all so pertinent now, and it's all about like, we're just not going to be, as a country, as a race, as a species, we're just not going to be able to move forward until we really acknowledge what has happened in the past and try to understand why we did the things we did.
Right.
For what reason?
And why protecting it. And
right.
I mean, probably money and power.
Right.
Land and all
exactly.
that stuff,
commodity, economics. It all comes down to that. But it's
the dream. Protecting the dream.
Protecting the dream. Right.
The American dream.
White America. Yeah.
Right. It was crazy watching those little commercials and stuff that they showed of the like in the 40s, 50s and stuff, and it's just so like being minority here, but it's just so perky white. Everybody's just like. Like Barbies. There's just Barbie and Ken all over. It was
great back then.
Right, exactly.
That's what we want again, that fantasy.
Oh, my God.
Well, I feel like we're in a middle ground now, because that was a couple hundred years ago.
Yes.
I feel like in a couple hundred years, it'll be together. We'll be dead.
Right.
But maybe our grandchildren, or great-grandchildren, something like that, they'll be like, I can't believe her.
Like, those guys were doing what?
What?
That's kooky.
Because of
your... Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think it'll be a lot...
I missed how I love how the dialogues were represented in this movie, like James Baldwin and George F. Will, or Baldwin on the Dick Cavett show. The debates they would have were just like so civil and so articulate, no less impassioned. But James Baldwin would make some incredible point with someone that had a diametrically opposed viewpoint, who would listen to him, and either like or and then he would make a point, also articulate, and I just was like, they're listening to each other. They're not shouting over each other.
Right.
They're not.
Those days are over.
They don't have a
They're not screaming something
response.
On Twitter.
Right.
Screaming
all
something?
caps.
Is he watching Saturday Night Live?
Right. Walking the halls in his bathrobe and it's so weird because I have like a New York Times subscription. Yeah. So like my email, like every morning there's like your daily briefing. Yeah. Which before was just fine. You would just tap in and look in, and now like even on a Saturday and a Sunday morning, I like dread clicking on it because I don't know what's going to. What I'm going to read. I mean, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that being that way.
And I watch all those daily shows, Samantha Bee, Colbert. I watch all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, what are we in for today?
It's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. It really is.
It's scary. Well, where are you guys from originally? Garret, you're from Washington?
That's where I grew up. I was born in California, in the Bay Area.
Okay.
We moved around a lot. My father's a trucker.
Oh.
So we were all born in different places, my brothers and I. But I think of Washington State as home, Eastern Washington, Apple Country.
A trucker. What was it like having a dad as a trucker and moving around all like that?
Well, it all happened sort of before fourth grade, so I didn't seem that unusual.
Okay.
You know, my older brother was born in Arizona, then moved to California where I was born, then to Colorado where Brett was born, and back to California. Mm-hmm. He decided he hated the city and he wanted something, and then we just sort of followed the fruit.
When your mom was Washington. Game on that, was she around?
I guess so. Yeah.
And she was just stay-at-home mom. So she was able
for the first little bit, but she went to work pretty quickly. You know, we were alone with lists of chores to do and stuff.
What age were you guys when she went back to work?
I guess it was pretty soon after we moved up there. Yeah, she went to work in a ceramics store, and then was a receptionist for a chiropractor.
And your dad kept driving trucks?
He didn't drive long, but he worked in the trucking industry.
Okay.
Dispatching.
Oh,
I think he eventually ended up in insurance for truckers toward the end of his career.
Okay. There. You never thought maybe I'll be a trucker.
I didn't. He didn't paint that rosy picture of it, you know. So many regulations, but I do know all the stuff to do, like, you know, turn my lights on and off when the truck's passing you so they know to come back in, and they love it. They're like, and they flash their lights at you. There's a little communication.
I see.
The trucking brotherhood has.
Did you have a handle?
I didn't. I didn't have a CD or a handle.
No, nothing like that.
Should have come up with something.
Your dad did not raise you right.
But we sang Convoy in the 8th grade choir.
Oh, there you go.
There's something.
That's something. Michelle, you're from New York?
I am.
I'm
born and raised in Greenwich Village, New York. My mom still lives in the apartment that we all grew up in, West Beth Artist Housing.
Wow, she still lives in there?
She still lives there, and she just turned 84. 84 years old, still lives in the crazy artist housing that we all grew up in.
Is it rent controlled?
It is rent stabilized. It is, yeah, which is one of the, what is it, 2 or 3 still that are, you know, for artists. There's Manhattan Plaza, this one, and there's another one.
I have no idea.
But yeah, and the apartments were made back in the day when people were supposed to have, you know, a little space to live in, actually.
Right.
Crazy.
Not the small spaces now.
Yeah.
Well, where do you guys live now?
Like exactly? Who's going to hear this
you
thing?
put the address.
No, yeah, right. We're bi-coastal. So, like in, here, we're down Tribeca. Like, I'm a downtown girl.
Gotcha.
So it's always going to be below 14th Street.
I dragged her out of the West Village. I'm so sorry.
That's right. He did. Kicking and screaming. And in L.A., we're Burbank. Yeah, we're sort of like in the outskirts of everything. Because, like, you know, I guess for 10, 15 years being bi-coastal in L.A., I've tried all the different areas, and I realized as a native New Yorker, I was looking for New York in LA, which is an impossible thing.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
There's no such thing, and you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
So finally, I've released that and just embraced what California can give you. Yeah. And we love the hikes and, you know, the good weather and the quiet. Yeah. You know, so we're Burbank.
It's a little cleaner.
Little calmer. But it's different, isn't it?
As long as you don't get stuck in traffic. You're okay.
Well, when do you not get stuck in traffic?
You don't leave your house.
You don't leave your house. Exactly.
Around that time, I guess.
Exactly.
That's funny. And am I allowed to say your age? I don't because it was a big. I looked it up. You're not so. You look amazing.
Well, thank you, honey. Moisture.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. It was a big one. Was there any panics coming in for this big?
No, I mean it's funny because I don't generally mention my age, but I'm not a ageist. Like, I don't get stressed about that. I'm always thankful for every day above ground. You know, I think we're very. You know, I've always found people. I think it's quite interesting and a little arrogant when people make assumptions about the future. Like, well, in the future, da-da-da. I'm always like, or you could walk outside and an air conditioner could drop on your head and you die.
Right.
But, you know, if you live in New York, but in the most positive way, you know, like, be here now.
Yeah,
you know,
live in the moment.
Live the moment now and try to and do the things you do. I mean, I always say I hope that if this is my last moment, I'm not regretting what I'm experiencing right now. Like, this is a beautiful thing. And if this is my last moment, then great. Then I got to, you know, chat with you and sit here.
I hope this isn't your last moment.
But you know, no, not at all. Don't say that. But you know, my sisters and my father died, passed away at 70, which was to me too young.
That's young,
yeah. And you could even see it. He was an actor,
Yeah.
And black actor, speaking of I Am Not Your Negro, James Baldwin, he was basically lived that same life, that same time period. Worked with Dr. King, was a civil rights organizer. Maya Angelou wrote about him in her books. He was right there.
What's your dad's name?
Hugh Hurd. Hugh Hurd. And then became an actor, and there were so many things that he wouldn't let us go see because he didn't want to be seen as an Uncle Tom or Step and Fetch It. And in our house, he encouraged us to only watch shows that had representation of people of color. And I remember being like a little snotty-nosed teen and being like, why? What's going on? And now, of course, as an adult, I understand. I realize what he was trying to do. And to me...
You went and found a white guy.
And then I found a white guy, so I'm not sure how that... But I'm basically saying, look, embrace it, you guys. Right. We're all one. We're all one.
Exactly.
But I remember him in, on his... I just think on his deathbed there was regret. Feeling like he didn't do what he wanted to do. And
what do you think he wanted to do?
I think he wanted... it's that annoying thing as artists. We, for some reason, think that we need to be known. Which is such an interesting thing because
a legacy of some kind.
Yes, and I which is interesting. I understand that, and I of course, if that happened for me, I was a big, huge star. That'd be a lovely thing. But at the same time, if I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I'm telling the stories that I enjoy to tell, then that should be enough.
Yeah,
that should be enough.
Yeah,
I think So I'm trying to embrace that and get as much as I can out of what I do. Like, doing Blindspot right now. I love this character. I love her. She's delicious. She's fun. And, I know that it's only there's a certain window for it.
Sure.
So enjoy it. And then, what's next?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
That's a good attitude.
I think so.
What's your dad pass of?
Well, I say, black men's, illness in America, high blood pressure, kidney failure, terrible diet, hypertension, that whole thing. And, the stresses of growing up here. I mean, at 18 years old, he went to World War II, fought in the war, was a liberator at Dachau. There was, he walked through the gates of a concentration camp, saw bonfires of bodies. He was a black battalion, and out of the woodworks, prisoners came out as skeletons, as my dad said, and with outstretched arms said, "Black angels, black angels," and he experienced that, and then he came back to New York and he couldn't get a cab. You know what I mean? Like there was a fight on the street. He stepped inside it to try to separate them. The cops came and arrested him.
Right.
It's that kind of stuff that he went through, and I think it weighed heavily on him. And being an artist, wanting to, do this thing and only having parts that were Uncle Tom and Step and Fetch. But he was fortunate enough to work with John Cassavetes in Shadows. John Cassavetes, first sojourn into improvisational filmmaking, and my dad was part of his core. So he got to experience some gifts. Yeah. But then at the same time, goes back and still can't get a cab to go home.
That's not right.
Yeah, that's not right.
What age were you when he passed?
I was 29, I think.
29. So
yeah.
That was some time ago.
A year before we met.
Yeah, it was a year before I met him. Interesting, huh?
What would your dad think of Garret?
I think he'd really...
Right now?
Back then or right now? Is there a difference?
I know. I think he'd really like him. I mean, my father... One of the biggest things that my dad always talked about was his 3 girls, myself and my 2 sisters, and he would love the way that he cares for me. So I think that's the biggest thing. And
he would hate the times that I don't.
Yes, for sure. He would not like the times that you don't take care of me.
But he might forgive me. You're saying
he would forgive. Yeah, he was a big teddy bear. He was full of love and. Everybody
that I never got a chance to meet him.
My sister's husband never got to meet him either, so yeah.
That's too bad. How'd your mom do after that?
That was really challenging. I mean, that was I remember that night when he passed. He was in the hospital and we got the call. We all went over there. And, I remember in that moment that I had a flash of those African wailers, like women, la, 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 and they scream and wail, make that sound. And I remember my mom got this 911, And she called, and she couldn't hear. She just couldn't hear what they were saying. And then she says, "What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying?" And we're all standing around the phone. And then she said, "Hey, it's Dad." And we all just like let out these sounds, just, yeah. And I remember we went to the hospital and we dealt that whole thing. And I remember coming home back to the apartment where my parents lived, and my mom started to clean the house. And she was like, "I have to do the laundry. I have to do the laundry." And my elder sister, Adrian, said, "No, Mom, you don't." She says, "I do. I have to do the laundry." And it's just, it's an death is death is an interesting thing, how people can deal. But she's great. She's a psychologist, and she's like an Energizer bunny, and she has persevered and
Did she ever find love again?
No. I wanted her to. She, for like a tiny little window, she went on a little online. And
did she really?
She did, and then she got too shy. Yeah, I know. I wanted her to.
What website did you go on?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I should check. I don't know.
Tinder?
For sure. She was like,
I'm swiping right. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Well, how did you guys meet?
We're doing a play.
Yeah.
Doing a play where?
It's the last play ever done at Circle Rep here in New York.
The last play you've ever done?
The last play ever done at Circle Rep.
Ever done? Okay.
Yeah.
Circle Rep shut down after that.
Yeah, we closed it.
They're like, okay, we're hoping this to be a big hit.
Yeah.
It was fun, though.
It was a fun one.
It was called 900 Oneonta, written by this guy named David Beard, a sort of Tennessee Williams on crack.
Yeah.
And I was the dyspeptic, alcoholic, drug-addled heir to this Southern fortune, and she was my prostitute girlfriend,
it's always
Palace.
Good. Always good. Feels
who
good.
ended up taking over the whole thing when I die. Yeah.
But it was a fun moment when we met, right?
Tell him.
Well, I find it interesting because it's quite apropos of how men and women are, and how we perceive ourselves. Because I remember getting this part and the director saying, "Oh, I've got this amazing actor who's going to play your love interest, and it's going to be a great experience." And I was so excited. And so that, first day of rehearsal of the table read, I came into rehearsal and I was looking around, who is this person? And I see John Cryer and I see Missy Pyle. I see all these people. And I see this one guy and he's sitting down. I was like, that must be this actor. I'm so excited. So I go straight over to him, and this is my perception of what happened. I go straight over to him and I said, "Hi, my name is Michelle Hurd. I'm so excited to be working with you." And from my perspective, he sort of looked over at me, said, "Hi, I'm Garret," shook my hand, and turned back away.
Oh.
I know, right?
Very gross.
Right, thank you. Thank you. And I was just sort of like, what? And then John came over and started talking to me, and then out of the corner of my eye, I heard like laughter, and I look over, and he and Missy Pyle are like chatting and laughing.
Oh,
right.
like
so
continuing
our
conversation.
Thank you. I love that you're right there with me. I love that. And
I know Missy Pyle is.
So yes, so yes, exactly. So I wrote that off. I was like, okay, so that's who that is, and then you tell what
what's the he said of this?
Well, she neglected to say how she was dressed.
How was she dressed?
She was on rollerblades, wearing like a micro mini and like this midriff bearing like halter top. It was a hot summer day.
It's August, New York.
Yeah.
How else?
So she was like 9 feet tall, like golden. And I was wearing like postman's shoes and high water pants, and if I stood up, it was going to be awful. And I knew that she was going to be my love interest. I just was like, she must be so disappointed. Oh. I was so like tongue-tied and like baffled.
I bet she looked great, right?
Oh, she was amazing. Yeah. And I was just like, and I was mid-conversation with Missy, and so I just said, I tried to be polite, and I went back to, because I didn't want her to think like I was going to, take advantage of this situation.
Right.
All
right, well, you did the wrong thing.
Apparently.
You made the wrong decision.
Although
that's right. In short order.
Well, so you immediately were taken by her.
Yeah.
And were you taken by him at all?
Nope.
Or not for a while?
I have to say,
not at all.
He was just really awkward around me. He was really awkward.
Did you know that? Did you recognize that you felt awkward?
Oh my God. Like literally, I would say to the other castmates, I was like, what is up with that guy? He's so weird. He'd come over while we were all like hanging or whatever, and he'd always have something in his hand, and it would like flip out and like hit me in the face. And it was like the weird, and I was just like, he's got some issues. What is happening? I could not grasp it at all. But I think it's also because sometimes women have a self-defense thing, and the thought of him liking me, it never came in my head at all.
It was people with their own bundle of insecurities.
I just didn't think it at all. Yeah.
So was that what happened?
There's no way she'll like me, and she's like,
what is wrong with this guy?
Well, that's funny because I mean, you guys are in your 30s then?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, 29, 30. I was, 30. I was about to 30.
But you're still like acting like high schoolers or middle grade.
All right, we're mature. Pointing that out.
I suppose so. That's right.
News.
But it's cute though.
There's something cute. There is something endearing about it.
So was that your perspective, Gary? You were like super shy around her because you liked her. Did you already have feelings for her?
Oh yeah, I really liked her. I'm sure it was a lot of lust, you know, involved.
There you go.
You know, guys are. So you just start trying to do anything you can, you know.
But did you like before Michelle? Did you date a lot? Did you have girlfriends, wives?
I didn't date a lot, but I was dating someone at that time, and I promptly broke up with her.
Really?
Came back to
before you knew Michelle was into you, or afterwards, or was there a crossover?
There wasn't really a crossover, no. But I mean, other than the fact that I was dating someone and then was like, boing, liked someone else. But we hadn't been dating long, so it wasn't like the most painful breakup I've ever been involved in. Is that how you get around girls you liked? You would get a little awkward with them or anything like that? I'm very awkward around. I
guess. What do you like around girls?
What do you like around girls?
I feel like I'm pretty charming.
Why weren't you charmed, Michelle?
Those things kept flying in my face. I was like, this guy is weird.
She was charmed, clearly. It worked.
Well, how long did it take?
That's my drag. I act all.
Yeah, that's your thing. That's your thing, isn't it?
Coordinated and like bashful.
Yeah. Well, the good part is you guys
help me, save me.
Yeah, you're in a play, so you have time.
Right.
Yeah, there's time we're going to see each other every day.
Exactly.
So how long did it take for
a week and a half?
No, it was a little longer than that. No, honestly, and once again, I still think it's about the sort of insecurities of women sometimes. I remember we were backstage or off stage. We were just hanging in the green room or something, and he asked me if I knew a girl that we have a mutual friend, Maggie Rush. And I said, oh, yeah, I know Maggie from, she's another lady of color. We all hang and we all see each other on campus, so to speak. And I said, yeah, I know Maggie. Wow, what's up? And he said, oh, well, I called her last night and I was, saying, I got this crush on this girl who I'm in this play with and I can't talk to her. And I said to him, oh, you don't have a crush on me. We're just playing lovers in a play. And he said, no, I do. And what was so interesting was at that, I remember it very well. At that moment is when I realized, when I opened the possibility of seeing him as differently as a possible partner, and I think it's all about the woman's insecurity. Like I didn't open that door up until I knew that there was a possibility. Maybe because of being afraid of being hurt, I didn't allow myself to be that vulnerable and see him as a possibility until then.
Well, how were you dating up until that point? Did you have a lot of boyfriends?
No, not so much. Not so much. No, it's funny. My other two sisters, the three of us, we just weren't very. We were just not popular. I was always like this sort of athletic kid in school, and I'm just just not like the most feminine creature, and I just don't see men that way. I see them more as buddies and friends and just
almost like a tomboy or something.
Yeah,
I changed her sexuality basically,
wow.
preference.
Wow,
right.
That's not what you're saying.
I don't know.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think so.
That's what I've
weird.
always told people. And I was like,
That's kind of weird.
Up about it.
It's kind of weird.
Oh man.
No, I'd say I was
gotta
a
make some phone
serial
calls.
monogamist. I had been with a guy from college, and I'd been, just like I have my boyfriend, and now I'm going to be with him for a period of time. And I think before then it was maybe like one boyfriend.
You always had really long relationships.
Yeah,
Like a few years.
yeah. I'm just never
Decade.
Don't really know how to
A decade.
date. Yeah,
You were
my first college boyfriend was like a decade.
Wow.
And then
So right
him.
before Garret.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's my buddy. He's my best friend now, and I'm the godmother of his children.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yes, because
cool?
they're
cool.
I
like
enjoy the person.
That's good. I hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
After 20 years of
Right?
knowing the guy.
Yeah.
I'm just messing up his kids.
No,
I'm
no.
not.
But is he aware that you changed your sexuality?
Stop it!
Yeah.
You're just dreadful.
He's like, that was our problem. That's not even the right term. It's
just
just
dreadful.
sexuality, it's sexual preference.
I don't know where this conversation's going. It's just all.
Did you guys always want to be actors?
I think.
Entertainers,
I
performers?
guess. I mean, I
You
was.
come from a family of actors.
I
so
come
that
from a
must be whole
family
nother-
of artists. My father and my parents actually met on stage together as well. They were both actors, and once the 3 kids were born, my mom started. Was like, right, somebody needs to make a steady income. So
Right.
she started to work for the city in health and education for children, and then wrote a dissertation and became a psychologist. My father stayed acting until he passed. My middle sister, Adrian, I'm the baby, is a dancer. She's been a dancer since she was like 3 years old, and she danced with ABT, SAB, Joffrey, Alvin Ailey, Judith Jamison, and now she's an Alvin Ailey teacher and choreographer. And my eldest sister, stage combat queen, and she also teaches acting over
Very
at
physical.
Yes,
All three of you
all
guys.
3 of us. But I have to say, I was just a little athlete, a little tomboy, a little punk for the majority of my youth.
A little bit rock and roll.
A little bit rock and roll, a little
Gotcha.
crazy. Okay, I grew up in the village,
Right.
and then like senior year in high school, I was like, I want to get into acting. I didn't think of it until that moment. Until it was like, so you have to go to college. What do you want to do? And I'm like, acting. And I went to Boston University School for Theater Arts.
University.
Yeah,
And studied theater.
theater. Yeah,
How was that?
it was good.
What happened to your boyfriend? You met him there?
I met him there. Yeah.
Okay.
No boyfriend there before.
Also an actor?
Also an actor at the time. He's not anymore. But Boston was interesting. I needed to go to because I'm such a city kid. I had to go to a college that was in a city. I couldn't I went to campuses to check out colleges, and I went to like SUNY and Oberlin, and I was just like, what's going on? Where's the transit system? This is just not going to work. And I remember getting off the T on Com Ave in Boston. I was like, yeah, we could do this. This is working. But Boston, it was an interesting place to go to school and to be a lady of color, and in a time. I mean, it's still just now. Everything's sort of becoming more. I don't know what we say. Open to blind casting. I don't know. Because I think I played every single different ethnicity in college, and I remember saying to the teachers, I actually don't have to work on being ethnic. It's so natural. It just exudes. I walk into a room, someone's like ethnic,
Yeah.
And I always thought that college, especially since people pay, was the time when everybody gets to play Juliet. But apparently, not so much.
Oh, okay.
So to me, when I got out of college, I felt emancipated. I was like, thank you. Now I can just go do what I want to do.
And then you moved back to New York?
Moved straight back to New York. Started doing theater straight off the bat. No paying theater gigs. So much so that I literally I thought I should go to a no paying theater gigs anonymous, because every time the phone would ring up, like, yes, damn it, I did it again.
And your boyfriend moved with you, I guess.
He did. He came to New York, and he just kind of shifted into doing advertising, I think, basically.
Okay, so
and
he dropped
just
out of...
because it's acting's just it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough if you don't if it's not the only thing that you want to do, then don't do it.
Yeah, right.
Get and do something else.
What about you, Garret? Well, you always want to be an actor? You should do the
No, it's
high
different,
school
very
plays
different.
and stuff?
No, I
he's
kind of
totally
imagined it. Very shy. I was going to be a journalist. That's what my degree is in. It's journalism from
NYU, right?
University of Washington,
University of
Seattle.
Washington.
I went to graduate school at NYU.
Okay.
So it took me to New York. But yeah, I never would have imagined that that's what I'd be doing.
So what do you want to do? You want to be...
I wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to be like...
You wanted to give fake news?
Leo Rossi.
That's right.
News.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't go that way now. But although they're picking up their game now, aren't they? They're like, we'll show you. We'll show you.
I hope so.
journalism."
Yeah. We'll get real
I'm
focused.
proud of them. Yeah, I'm proud of them. But I just took a turn in college, and I took an acting class as an elective, and really liked it.
Well, is that hard I was a shy kid, too. Was that hard making that decision? Like, I'm really shy. That means I'm going to be in front of people.
Well, I mean, I skipped I've told this story so many times though. So my brother passed away unexpectedly. My older brother in my senior year of high school, so it really threw me for a loop in college.
You were how old? 16?
16, just about to turn 17. You know, I was a little young for my grade.
Me too.
So I ended up in college, you know, just sort of adrift. You know, I really was thrown, really knocks you off balance when something like that happens.
Yeah.
He was 19.
He was 19, yeah.
Can I ask what he passed of?
A drunk driving accident. Yeah, so it was a real surprise, you know.
Was somebody hit him, or he was
Him and his buddy
driving
were both drunk. Eric, my brother, was a passenger in the car, and they just went off the road.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it was rough, and you still feel the effects of that. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be sitting here. You know, I never would have met you, and I would have. You know, there's gifts that, you know, you receive that you don't anticipate, but at the same time, you're like. So I think I just found a place I could hide out from all that stuff. I never would have tried it anyway. I just was like, I'd go be somebody else for a while. I was doing 10 plays at once and scenes and director's project. I was doing, you know, I'd be up all night rehearsing and doing whatever. I just loved it and loved being transported.
Right.
You know.
Are you a pretty focused guy?
I'm focused on this, you know. I think I can get a little melancholy, you know, if I don't watch it, you know. But I still have that habit. I still have that. I'm a workaholic, you know. I can't.
Yeah, you are.
And I realized sort of recently that all these years later, I'm still running, running job to job to job, you know. And
do you think you're running
just
from something?
No, I think, you know, because your reasons change for doing things. You know, you deal with tragedy. Everybody has tragedy. We just heard about my wife. I'm sure you have stuff. Yeah. You know, everyone does, you know, but then it's my job, you know, and it's a habit I've developed, which is this sort of Calvinistic approach to acting, you know. Work. I had 13 monologues, I remember, from my auditions for NYU.
Wow. How many do you remember
prepared. I remember what some of them were.
Could you do them now?
Yeah. Hold tight, everybody. This is going to be great.
Podcasting.
Yeah. Podcast-a-log.
So that must have been really hard for your family when your brother passed like that. Especially.
Yeah, it's awful for your parents. You know, it's just not something they're wired for, you know. And,
so what does that do? Did your family become closer, or did everybody just kind of?
I think so. Out? You know, we all lost a little time there. There was a little time that was lost. You know,
because you're sort of
a good decade. You know, my mom was not present, and she knows it and is really angry about it. But I know my brother and I are quite close now, and you know, and as for the kids, you know, you become all about taking care of the parents, and so you sort of lose that. Like what happened in that,
How old was Brett?
What did I do?
You were 16, about to turn 17.
Well, he was 13.
He was 13.
We're all just about the same length apart, and he was asleep, and I'd just come home from like my first date. Talk about, you know, sorry, what you're dealing with. How to fuck up your romantic life. So I came home late to the police car in the yard, you know, and them just being told, and so there was this sort of flurry of activity and, you know, grief and shrinkage. You know, everyone just started to shrink, and they decided to let Brett sleep. You know, he was asleep, and they were like, we don't want to let someone have a.
That's hard.
So you kind of win-lose either way, you know, because he's like, why didn't you get me up? Why
didn't you wake me?
Why am I not part of this?
Did it sink in right away, or did it take time, or do you?
Sure. You know, I don't. Think about, you know, tragedies you've all experienced. The enormity of it sort of starts to seep in after the shock wears off. I remember my best friend came over. You know, he didn't know what to do. It was a couple of dumb college kids, and we just walked. And I remember asking, like, I wonder who's going to get the Nova. You know, Eric's car.
Oh, his car.
And and he's like, why do I?
Random thought.
Yeah, why am I asking about? Like, are you saying you want it? You know, it's just like
you said that, or he said
I said
you
that.
said that.
You know, but you're thinking like, what's going to happen to his stuff?
Right.
And I found his wallet, you know, and he said he was 5. I think he was like 5'8" and 154 pounds. Like at the time, I'm sure he would have grown a little bit. Yeah, but he was. And I remember thinking, he's so small. I thought he was.
So tall, so big, your big brother.
You know what I mean? And he's short and light, and you know, I'm a foot taller than him by the time I'm in it seemed like, you know, I'm not 6'8".
That's
You
very
could have fooled
impressive.
me. Wow.
But it's interesting, yeah. But
Did you go to therapy or anything? You ever do that?
I didn't. I think acting was some therapy. I've tried therapy before, sure.
Yeah.
But
Since
never for that, yeah. But it comes up, that's for sure.
yeah,
It's interesting, those things, right?
Yeah.
What make you who you are, and what make you choose the things you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Physical things.
You would have been a great journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Do
so.
you miss it? Do you watch? Are you involved with news stuff?
I think you would.
I read it. You
Yeah.
know, I enjoyed working for the newspapers, but I'm so from another time. You know, I mean, we were still like, you used to take a picture of the, you know, you do the layout of the page with like typeset, and then you take a photograph of the page. So you had this giant negative that I would then develop, and then you print off of that. I was just part of this local paper. I was you're
Now you just
you're your own photographer for every story, you know,
Right.
and it's like, you know, it was such a small town, but it was like going off on some tour of the, you know, the fruity valley,
Right.
you know, and you know, it's just weird. It was big news that the cross country team took state, you know, or
But
you know.
would you want to be a journalist now? Like, would you want to be a reporter?
I don't know. I don't think so.
field.
I think it's hard to make a living. It's gotten much, much harder because
'Cause
it's all
it's
about blogging.
so many
and-
people,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, newspapers are shutting down. I
Right.
mean, I like that smell of the paper. I
Right.
liked-
It's not so much the
there was
small
a
paper
series
anymore.
called Lou Grant. I don't know if you remember it.
Sure.
Sure.
Hey, Asner?
Yeah, and there was one of those reporters was Leo Rossi, who seemed like the go-getter.
Was that
sort
your
of
guy?
Yeah, I was like, I want to be Leo Rossi. I just thought it was just the coolest kind of life, and I liked how bedraggled they were, and you know, it seemed like cigarettes didn't hurt them. You know, and
Yeah, right.
they were cool.
They're immune to cigarettes.
You know, busting the story, man.
Somehow.
Doing good.
Well, now you can play a journalist.
That's
That's right.
That's
You're an
There you go.
actor. You
That's
can
probably what I actually wanted to do.
That's true. You just wanted to play a journalist.
I remember reading an interview with Morgan Freeman one time. And he was talking about all the stuff he wanted to do and how he really wanted to be a fighter pilot. And he was going to do all these things. And he was in a plane at one point, and he said, I realized that I didn't want to be a fighter pilot. I wanted to pretend to be a fighter pilot.
It's a lot safer.
It's a lot
A
safer.
lot safer. So when you guys were met and you guys are starting to realize your feelings for each other, who took the initiative and asked who out?
I think I was all over. I
Yeah.
sort of wore you down.
Yeah, he wore me down. He
Wore you
basically wore me
down?
down. Yeah.
And what happened? Did you go like, hey, you want to go get dinner or
Well,
something like that? Or
I
just
don't
start
remember what
making
it
out?
was.
Or what?
But we were together before the end of the play.
Yeah.
Because I accompanied you.
Did we go to a movie? There was a movie where I think
Probably.
there was a
a dinner with your family at like the Slaughtered Lamb or something.
right. But
Scary.
I think there was a movie that there was the first kiss in the movie. That,
In the
was
movie
it Sean?
theater?
Was
yeah,
the kiss
it
in the play?
well, we kissed in the play. That's
Oh, well,
true.
oh, really?
That's
So
true.
that's funny. So
That's true.
that's interesting. So you like her immediately,
Yeah.
and then you get to kiss her. You're like, this is cool.
But
is, but it's kinda nervy.
It's weird. It's a weird thing
You
to
get kinda
kiss.
nervous.
You know, in acting world because
Yeah.
it's not. It's a very strange thing, isn't it? Because you kiss,
But
you
you're
need to
sort
make
of
it look
putting on a
good,
show.
but you're putting on a show. You're not really.
So what you're saying is when he kissed you in the play, you didn't feel anything.
I no. You're more conscious of like where you are on stage and what you have to do next, and I hope I don't forget my lines. And
I
don't know.
have a different memory. I feel like I mean, not
What
as
do you
what
think?
you were feeling.
yeah,
I remember you really liked it. No, but
What do you
I
remember?
didn't hate it. You know, it's not like it wasn't
right.
fun or good to do. And I remember being like in rehearsal, like, let's take it from the kiss again. You know, like really stupid jokes, and, you know, from another time,
I
sort
kinda
of
remember that.
sexism.
Right,
you
yes,
know.
right.
Charming.
I thought it
It
was.
was a
It's,
charming
you know,
guy.
in retrospect.
I think it was the Sean Penn movie, Sweet Lowdown.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Oh, the
Woody
one I
Allen
just
movie.
put on the TV that said like, well, he makes me crying all the time.
That's right.
That's so
I
funny.
think we went to over at like the 11th Street Theater. I kind of remember that because it was after rehearsal.
Good memory.
I know, right? And you were like, "Let's go to a movie or something," and we're like, "I said, yeah, and yeah,
Yeah, that first half of that movie kills me.
it's a
so
good
It's
movie."
been a while since I've seen
Yeah.
it. What, so during the movie, you guys kissed?
Yeah,
Like a real
I
kiss?
think he leaned over and gave
Really?
me a kiss. Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm so sorry.
See,
I don't
and
remember.
yet I married her.
Well, all those other kisses on stage were special.
That's
It's
right.
true.
That's right.
Special.
In my
Yes.
mind, those are real. You're a really good actress.
That's right.
So you guys have been together 20-ish years? 21, 22?
Yeah.
1920.
19, 20
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
That's
And
pretty
are
good.
you're married, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you get married?
07?
07. There you go. I looked to you.
That's 10 years ago. So 10 years into it, you got married.
Yeah.
You waited
Yeah.
a while.
We did.
Yes.
We didn't think we ever would. We
Yeah,
didn't, we
I'm
didn't
not a
care
big
about
marriage person.
Okay.
I wasn't really. I just didn't. I don't really get it.
Right.
You know.
I get it. I get it.
You know.
I get what you're saying.
Yep.
What changed?
I don't know. I think we just. I mean, there are economic advantages to being married and
Right.
stuff like
Incentives.
Right. Incentives. There are incentives.
Yeah.
that. But I think I was just trying to,
Yeah.
demonstrate a commitment and
Yeah.
that I wasn't 1 foot out the door all the time. And
Yeah. And you asked.
it was fun.
It seemed like it was a good idea.
Did you have like a blowout, or you city hall it, or what?
Well, we actually did both. We went to Italy and got married with just like about
20
people, family and a few friends in a villa on a mountainside.
Wait a second. Did you fly everybody out to Italy?
We didn't
Is
fly
that-
everybody out, but I did.
Fly
We
my
did take
folks
care
out.
of it. We flew our parents out, yes, but we took care of the villa, so everybody had a
Okay.
place to stay. And yeah,
That's nice.
and I tried to do all of the stuff that you have to do to get legally married in Italy, but it's quite challenging because you have to like go to this place and that place and get a stamp here and all this stuff. And
It's all in Italian.
yes,
They're
it's
never
all
open.
Italian. I love Italy, but they're always like, "Oh no, tomorrow we close, so you come back the next day." And we're like, "Oh
And
my
even
god!"
so, if we had the ceremony as we did, you'd still have to have a second one in their town hall,
Yeah,
basically. So
because
we're like,
you
well, let's
just
just
had-
do it at City Hall in New York.
So I had one of my dear friends. Her father is a priest.
He's ordained.
Ordained, and they were traveling through Europe, and so they came by, and he performed the ceremony in Italy, and then when we got back, we just went down to City Hall, and I have to say that City Hall one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's it like?
It's quite emotional.
I
Really?
don't know why.
Well, we didn't get the typical treatment because they recognized
right.
Michelle from all the law enforcement people love Michelle from all the stuff she's done.
Oh my God.
So we got to
TSA.
go into like the slightly larger chapel where
Yeah.
Matt Damon or whatever got married and
Yeah.
somebody else.
It was funny. We went in line.
was a
We got our
great guy.
stuff, and then somebody came. Literally, we were just standing there with throngs of other people, and someone came. "Excuse me, would you come with me?" And I'm like, "Sure." And we went through the special door, and they were like, "We love you on Law and Order," and they brought us to what was his
Little chap,
name?
He was really cute.
Like,
though.
he was
His
Irish.
tie was short and his belly, and he was.
He's like
He
one
was
of our
just so
representatives.
sweet and-
Mick. Oh dear, isn't that dreadful?
But he performed
at the ceremony. My
ceremony.
sisters were there, and my little nephews, and it was this really small, very
It was fun.
sweet, beautiful thing, and we both got very emotional. It was really nice, and that was
Like she was
a
like,
month
"No,
after
this is real." And I was like, "My life is over."
What?
what right. Thank you. What
Did you
It was
guys
really sweet.
write vows? Did you guys write vows?
we did for the
We did
one
for the
in
other wedding. We
Italy.
just let this one be its legal
beads.
self.
Yeah. I can't. I don't remember my vows. If you can ask.
No,
me.
no. But how so? Like the City Hall one, how long does that take? Like 15 minutes or something? Is that pretty quick?
Yeah, I think
so,
it was.
something like
It was
that,
pretty
15.
quick.
And there's like
yeah.
a line of other couples looking at it?
I mean, what normally happens apparently is that they take a bunch of people into a huge room, and somebody, stands at a I don't know, a counter or whatever, and performs a ceremony for like 50 people. So the normal
Oh, it's
typical
like a
thing-
mass. It's
Yeah,
Like the Moonies.
yeah, they do a whole huge thing, and we just got us, like a private sort of
Private
thing.
one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you wanted, do you get to choose to have a private one? Or?
I don't know. I mean,
Seems like you
I did. It seems like you should be able to, but I didn't even know anything about it. I was just like,
Yeah,
we
right.
just go and we'll just do our thing, and then they just took us. Like they literally were just like, follow us, and we went through these doors, and all of a sudden they were like, we're gonna hook you up.
Right.
It's like cool.
Wow.
Nice. I know, right?
You get like what do you get? Like a goodie bag when you walk out or anything?
No goodie
Nothing.
bag, just that. I just get that.
She just gets a white husband.
Is that an issue? The race difference? Does that ever
What do you
come
mean?
up? Like does that?
It hasn't
I don't. I mean,
that I've noticed.
yeah.
But
I mean, New York.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm from a mixed marriage, right? My mother's white.
Oh, okay.
She's German Irish from Blackwell, Oklahoma. My father's Jamaican Scottish. Grew up in Harlem, so I'm from that.
Okay.
That's what I've always known. And growing up in the village, where everybody's,
The seat of tolerance.
yeah, like sexuality. It's we always say in the village, if you have a problem, you get out.
Right.
This is where
your problem.
That's right. This is where everything goes. I mean, my neighbor was transgender. Growing up, that was before Transparent. Ever was aired. So I've always known that. Honestly, my first time of really experiencing some forms of racism was when I went to college. Was when I went to Boston.
Oh, Boston. Yeah.
Good old Boston.
Good old Boston.
I don't want to say anything bad because we love Boston, but that was the first time.
Yeah. I think they're getting better. Right?
Yeah, I think they are. 2017, for goodness.
It takes hundreds of years.
It sure does. It sure does.
It takes hundreds and hundreds of years.
It does.
People
But I don't
get
think
better.
we've had any.
Not
We
that-
had any
Not that I've
issues?
noticed.
Not that
and I
I've
don't feel particularly scary,
You get a little more clout because you got a lady of color on you.
Maybe.
How'd your parents meet?
My both of them are actors, and my mom
Okay, right.
she actually went to Boston University as well. She said that when she was 16 years old in Oklahoma, she realized one day that that's not where she's supposed to be. She was standing on the farm. She's like, "This is not my
never
world."
felt at home
Never
there.
felt at home. As soon as she could, she got out and went to college at Boston, and then as soon as she graduated Boston, she went to New York, which I just think is amazing. This girl, from a farm in Blackwell, Oklahoma, goes to Boston University and then moves to New York City and
Decides to be an actor.
just decides to be an actor. And she ended up working with a couple of companies that my dad was involved with Godfrey Cambridge and my father, Hugh Hurd, and Portier was in there. And they were on stage in rehearsal. It's a cute little story.
Yeah,
At the
go ahead.
time, they both smoked cigarettes, and my mom got off stage after doing a very, intense scene, and she says, "Does anybody have a cigarette?" And nobody had a cigarette. And went over to my dad, and my dad had a cigarette, and so he gave her a cigarette, and she was like, "Oh, thank you," and she gave him a hug, like a hug kiss, just to say thank you. The next day, my dad came up to her and said, "Do you have a cigarette?" And she said, "Sure." And she handed him the pack of cigarettes. He took a cigarette out and he put the pack in his pocket. And she said, "Oh, that's my cigarette." And he goes, "Oh, I know. But every time you want a cigarette, you'll have to give me a kiss."
Aww.
I know.
That's charming.
Isn't it
A
charming?
little bit
creepy.
A little weird, a little creepy, a
But
little
another
weird,
time,
and about
another
cancer,
time.
but whatever. Sort of like, do you have
stole
heroin?
my
Next time you want to shoot
property.
up, I'll take it.
Stole my property.
Right.
And now I have to pay you with sexual favors.
Right. When you break it down, I see it now. I see it. I do see it now.
It's fine, man. It worked out.
A little Mad Men-y.
What's
A
that?
little bit Mad Men.
A little bit Mad
I
Men.
suppose, yeah.
Oh, man.
They have a framed the box
Yeah.
of Marlboro Reds on the wall though at West Bed.
Where they of the cigarette? Yeah,
really?
pack of cigarettes. Isn't that cute? Come
That's
on.
cute. That's cute.
Come
No,
on.
that's cute. Come on.
I've never thought of it the other way.
Sorry.
No, it's just
ruined.
it's tainted. It
ruined
is.
it.
It's a little tainted.
I'm sorry. It makes you laugh, though. That's funny. So, Garrett, what's your brother doing these days?
My brother's a teacher. He's a great teacher. He's a high school history and politics teacher. He stayed in Eastern Washington. But he's been teaching a long time now. In fact, the school bond just passed for the first time in his entire career. They're going to get a new school finally.
Yay.
But yeah, he's a great teacher. I really love that guy. He starts, he claims to be the only liberal in that part of
Oh, really?
the country, but not in Washington, but in that side of Washington that we live is quite conservative. It's a farming community, but even that's not true. But he does good work.
He's so good. He's such.
He's
I mean,
such a
like even when
great
Obama
teacher.
was up for election, he hit the pavement, knocked on doors, organized kids to go to. Yeah, he's really involved. He's quite a.
He takes kids to D.C. every other year. They have these field trips, and they do these. He knows his way around D.C. really well. And he started this group called Mustangs for Mustangs. The Mustang is the mascot of the high school. And what he does is he pairs up, alumni with needs with alumni with skills or availability, or like if someone needs their car's broken down, they can't get to a job interview. This guy from the class of 97 is a mechanic, and okay, well I'll donate this much services to get your car. You know what I mean? Everybody sort of helps each other out.
Yeah,
it's turned into this
Sanders would love
massive.
He
would.
Exactly.
It's turned into this massive
Exactly.
success. Like he thought it was just this little thing, and now it's like they have a board of directors. They got
wow.
it's a massively successful nonprofit he started.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's a good
I
guy.
know, right?
He's a good guy.
That's
I
really
would never have thought of that.
You should play him in a movie.
That's right. There you go.
I should. He's the much more relevant brother. I'll tell you.
No, that's not true. That's
That's
not
not
true.
Pity me.
Do you have nieces and nephews and stuff?
I got 2 nephews by her.
That's right. By my sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lucy
Two
and
delicious. Yes, Lucy and Ellington Ellington just turned 10, and Lucienne's just turning 13, and they're delicious.
Oh,
Crazy little
I have 2
creatures.
nephews, 12 and 8.
Oh, it's the
Good,
best.
right?
Same thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
love
best,
those
right?
guys.
And I have 5 goddaughters in L.A.
Mm.
Those are delicious.
Kids
as
love
well.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Kids
I am
used
a
to love
child
me.
whisperer.
They used to love you. Not these
What
days.
happened?
I don't know.
Have you guys thought about in the past? I'm sure you've been asked this, but have you guys thought about having kids in the past, or
Never
did
crossed
that
my
ever
mind.
come up? Never got brought up.
You know, I never really, for some reason, I don't know why, I kept waiting for like the, knock, knock, everybody's like the clock ticking.
biological
Yes,
clock to-
I was waiting,
didn't
never really,
happen.
nope, I wear digital watches. I guess there's no TikTok.
Is it when you're an actor and you're always kind of hustling to find your next job and traveling and all that stuff, maybe it just gets away from you?
Well, I think as a woman, I acknowledge the fact that even when I'm with my nephews or with my goddaughters, or actually when I'm with any child, I instinctively and innately focus on the child first. Like it just comes natural. Like everything else goes secondary.
Right.
Including yourself and your other loved ones.
Right.
And I was very aware of that, like very early on, that like as soon as a child's in front of my face, it's it takes all of my focus. Which is a good thing, and if you're not prepared to do that, then I'm not sure if it's 100% fair to the child if you're going to split your focus. And I knew that in the most positive, selfish way, I acknowledge the fact that I really love what I do. I love this art sort of world. I love traveling. I kind of wanted to see what it would be like to have a really mature adult relationship that was supported and focused on and really highlighted. Like, we are going to live life together, and let's experience this, and let's really, how much can we get out of this? This would be really wonderful. This could be great. And I know, like, as a woman, if there was a child involved, one person has to take a little bit of not a back seat, but has to put the focus on the child. Has to.
Yeah.
It's just the way.
Sure.
And from my point of view, I pretty much figured it would be me.
Right.
And as I said, selfishly or whatever, I was like, well, I want to experience life. Like, I want to just see what life is like. I want 100% to see what I can embrace, what I can do, what I can explore, what I can contribute. And I mean, my nephews and my goddaughters, the godparents will the parents will tell you, they all benefit very well from me not having my own children. I spoil out of them.
Yeah.
And I love it, because when they're with me, I why can't I give them the best,
Yeah,
why not? If we're going to go to Great Adventures, let's do the Fast Pass, why not?
Yeah.
Every single time, So yeah, that's been my sort of take on it, yeah.
And you guys, I assume this was talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted kids, and she denied me children.
So, oh my God, that could not be farther.
That's not true. I sort of felt like we were the same that way, and I wouldn't have minded if we did have kids at all, but it just didn't seem to be what was going to happen, and I'm fine with it, and she's fine with it, and we have, like she told you what we have, with so much other stuff. It's really fine. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. I don't.
That's good. It's a good thing that worked out.
I'm too old. Yeah, it's a long way to the ground.
Have you guys worked together on film before?
Yes.
We have.
Was it just leap years?
Well, we did a series together, a terrible series on the Showtime called Leap
Showtime.
Years.
We pretended we'd been together about 5 years or
Right.
6 years at the time, and we
Right.
pretended we didn't know each other at the
At the
test.
audition and test.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just
That's funny.
because we were
Just for the heck
young
of it,
or
I
whatever.
don't know.
We thought, they would be shocked at how much chemistry we have.
Right. And they did cast us.
Apparently.
They did it. And then
As a couple?
Yeah, as
Oh,
a couple.
that's
yeah,
funny.
it's kind of crazy.
That's
Leap years was a
funny.
crazy little thing. It was about 5. Was it 5 people? 5 or 6 people?
Yeah.
5 friends.
You tell the story, I'll count.
Yeah, of 5 or 6 friends who
Yeah, I think
we see
5.
them in 93, 97, and
2001.
2001. Right, the leap years.
Right.
So we jump back and
Every
forth in
episode
different.
you see all
Every
different
episode you see
times.
the 3 different time periods and
Okay.
where these people have, gone or changed or whatever. And that was right before 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
We were shooting when 9/11 happened, and so that was that really changed everything. Obviously, yeah. But
New York.
yeah, so we've done that, and then we kind of try to do each other's shows, like a guest on each other's shows, just for fun.
She came on Raising Hope.
I came on
Yeah.
Raising Hope. You came on the Glades.
That's right.
You just came on the Blind
I did
Spot.
Blind Spot. But we didn't get to work together on the Glades or Blind Spot, did
That's
we?
right. We didn't get to work together.
Do you like read a script and go, oh, Garret would be good for this, or Michelle would be good for this, and then take it to whoever and they do it, or do you have to
I guess we-
audition, or how's that work?
Well, I always have
It's
to audition. I'm
you-
waiting for the
you didn't-
offers.
You didn't have to audition for Raising Hope, did you?
No, I did not have to audition for Raising Hope. That's true.
It usually seems to be like, Michelle's in town.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, ask her if she'll, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Good,
yeah,
it's in
if we're
town.
reading scripts for, if there's something that I think that you would be great for, I tell you. He's always busy though. This
Yeah.
one's always busy.
But it's a great benefit to the companies too, though. Like
Yeah.
when we were in the Glades, like they didn't
Right.
have to fly me out or put
You
me
were,
up,
you were
or
just in Florida down with me, and they're like,
So it's a dubious honor, probably. I nailed this part. Just get Garret. He's here. We don't have to.
that's right. We don't have to put him up. There's no plane ticket. It's fine.
Well, yeah, Garret, I probably know you best from Raising Hope.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Probably. That's
Probably.
the
But
longest
when I
job
was
I've ever
looking
had.
through I only had a few minutes to look through your IMDb. There were a few things I was like, oh yeah, I remember him from that too. It was like, let me see if I can read my handwriting so quickly. Oh yeah, Justified, Looper,
Yeah.
Terminator,
Looper was so good.
No Country for Old Men.
Come
You know,
on.
you have a long list of stuff. Which, by the way, how you liking Mindy Project? Are you done with that now? I guess so, right?
It's coming back, I think, in August. It's a
is that
weird.
right?
There's this massive long break because Mindy has about like 5 movies she's doing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But so I don't think so. I mean, I have another show. I'm waiting to see if
It's
it goes.
picked up.
Hand of God. So you can do
Monsters
both
of
shows.
God. It's called
It's another
Monsters
one.
of
It's a
God.
new
It's a
pilot.
cowboy show.
Oh, Monsters of God.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. I'm
Is
so
that like
proud
a
of the
spin-off
pilot.
of Hand of God?
I know. I don't know what's with the of God titles in my life, but
But it's a really interesting piece.
yeah,
Civil
I'm
War.
really proud of it. No,
Not
it's
Civil
it's
War.
the Comanche
Comanche
Wars.
Wars,
It's
that's right.
post Civil War and
Sounds like a band.
West Texas. Yeah,
A
right.
band,
The
like a
Comanche
heavy metal-
Wars.
Heavy metal. That's great. Was that?
Yeah, it's great. So that might work out fine with starting up Mindy again. You know, don't know.
I had Fortune on my podcast.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and I had Lucas Neff
Oh,
Oh,
love
wow.
a
him.
long time ago
He's
on my
just-
podcast, and I know Barinholtz a bit.
Oh, Ike's great.
Yeah.
You could kind of be his brother in a way, like his more attractive brother.
Thank
That's
you.
right. I said more
Thank you.
attractive. Ike.
Thank you, Garret. Sorry, John.
Wow.
Ike will love that.
Yeah.
No,
I want to get him
I
on.
love
the-
Ike so much, man.
He's a good
him
guy.
and
He's a good
Stas,
dude.
and they make that show for
One
me.
of the first times I ever did long form improv on stage was with Ike.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
really?
It was at IO West, and it was for this thing called the Lottery, where students could perform with alumni. And I knew him from Mad TV at the time. He was doing Mad TV, and I was still kind of like, what's going on? I'm a little shy to be on stage, but he has no shyness on
He's
stage.
a beacon.
He's got none.
Is that
None.
right?
He's zero shame, zero.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No insecurity, nothing.
Nope.
But which I admire greatly.
Absolutely.
So I just jumped on his shoulders and he just carried me through that whole show. But he's a good dude. And Michelle, you got lots of credits as well. You got ER. Did a bunch of ERs. Mm-hmm. You guys both did a bunch of ERs, but you didn't do them together.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did a bunch of Gossip Girls. How'd you like? You did one episode of Flash Forward, which my friend Scott Gimple, that was his show at the time. Now he's doing Walking Dead.
That's right.
But That's so funny. It's a small world.
It is a small world.
It's a small
In
world.
this huge acting thing, it's tiny.
And then there's Ash versus Evil Dead. That's
Yes,
pretty
there
cool.
is.
Well, that filmed in New Zealand.
New
right?
Zealand, down in New Zealand for 5 months.
I just went there.
Oh, did you?
A few months ago.
Oh yeah, what part?
I went to Wellington for a few days and then Auckland for a few days.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed it.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really
Beautiful
beautiful.
country.
It's a beautiful country. I
I
could
didn't
totally.
get to South Island.
I know I didn't get to South Island.
You didn't get there?
I
In
know.
5 months
I
you didn't
know.
get
I
to
know.
South Island?
It just didn't happen. I know. I did. I went to Fiji.
I was so pissed at you.
It's like this, South Island, Fiji.
Well, you were pissed,
Fiji.
Garrett, that you didn't get the...
I can't believe that.
We shoot in Auckland, so
You do?
yeah.
Oh, that's so...
It's great. It's great. The crew down there is wonderful. I mean, talk about the art department for Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's what you think of when you want to be an actor. You know, they have the full bodies of like, you know, body parts and deadites and meat bodies, and you come on set every day and there's like new different, you know, concoctions of blood and demon ichor. I mean, it's so fun.
That's so fun.
And Bruce Campbell. Love playing with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, he's so funny.
He's the best. He's the absolute
Now,
best.
but that's hard, right? You're in New Zealand for 5 months, and Garrett, you're in the States doing your stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That must have
And
been real tricky.
It's a day from New York, it's a day and 8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
We've been
it's
apart
super
more and
tough.
more of late. I've noticed this business is becoming more and more sort of.
Yeah.
Do you guys
This-
handle that pretty well?
This
or-
year's been good. We've been together.
Well, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, I
Yeah.
think like you probably experience this too, like that thing where you're away and then you get back together and you have to relearn how to be back to, you know, like
Too
we don't put the cup there. We
Right.
actually put it someplace else.
Two
It's just
independent
better over
people,
here.
you know, you heal, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did Lee Majors played my father. He was actually on
He was
Ash
on
as
Ash
well.
versus Evil.
Played my father on Raising Hope
That's great.
a few times, right? And
Oh, that's true.
and he would sit on set. He never leaves set. Once he comes to set in the morning, he just stays there all day. He doesn't go to his trailer and back and forth on all that stuff.
I mean, he's bionic. He doesn't...
He
First
just
of all,
stays there.
It's just
And
exactly.
he just was telling them all these great stories about, you know, him and Farrah and his good wives and bad wives and how they're like, why do we ever split up? I don't know, just time. And he talked about how there was a moment where with his show and her show, she had the #1 show in the country, he had the number 2 show. Back when millions and millions
Right.
of people
Yeah, right.
watched
6 million and Charlie's Angel.
20 and 30 million people are watching your
I
show.
mean, amazing.
And he said they saw each other 2 days in a year.
Oh,
You know, and they've just been married. And he's like, "And absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder; it makes you forget." But he sounds really
I was
southern
going
when
to say
he
that.
says his stories.
Don't even say-
He
okay,
says
that's
forget. He
very-
says forget.
Did he?
Yeah. And it's funny to me because you're like, I guess so. I guess you do kind of
Forget.
you heal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and you get used to your own company, and you know,
It's interesting, though. I mean,
it's a shame.
I think, I mean, my sister and
You
I.
just have to really be vigilant.
My sister Adrian, her husband is a lighting designer for a dance company that travels Europe often. So her husband's away sometimes for 7 weeks, 8 weeks, you know, period of time. She's the one with the 2 children, and Adrian and I have talked about this, and I think growing up with a father who also would go on tour and come back, in our little weird head, it seemed normal. You know, I didn't know that it was an odd thing to have a
Right.
partner go away and come back. Like, from our point of view, they go away, but they always come back. You know, so and my mother's such a, you know, she's just an independent, strong woman, and, you know, she went to work, and, you know, she takes care of everything, and that's what we just, you know, we sort of are, they're a little, you know, they were a model for us. So the women, we work and we take care of ourselves, and our husbands go, and then they come back. And so I've never thought of it was an odd thing, but it is something that you have to make an effort to stay connected and reach out and not forget each other. And
You both gotta want it.
you both got to want it. You have to want it. You have to trust each other. You have to want it. That's probably the best. Yeah.
Have you guys done stage stuff recently in the last bunch of years?
Last year, I did a play here while I was doing Daredevil.
Yeah.
I did a theater piece. Actually, Jeffrey Cantor, who's
Great Jeffrey Cantor, Ellis.
Yes, he directed me in a piece that a friend of mine, Tracy Godfrey, wrote for one of the theater festivals that they do here in New York. So last year was the last time I was on stage.
Okay.
I feel like we have to be on stage at least every few years. It's just helpful. Like the first time, it was funny. The first time we started to rehearse, I kind of came on, and I was just like really fast, and Jeffrey was like, "Okay, breathe, slow down." I know, I'm coming from him exactly. Just take it easy, and you're like, "That's right. We're going to be here, and we need to let our voices carry and the words carry," because you're doing television and you're just everything's so natural and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, so last time I was on stage was about last year. What about you?
It's been a couple summers for me, but I guess coming up on 3. Yeah, did a play in Bay Street.
Oh, that's right, Bay Street, which was with Martha. With Sarah Paulson. Yeah.
With Sarah Paulson, really?
I know, right?
Yeah. She's all right. I mean, don't get her. She felt pretty blessed, I think, as well. No, she's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's like food on stage.
She's sure like a tree, like an oak tree. She's just
source of energy for you.
Yeah. Well, I remember her from American Gothic. Do you remember that show?
Yeah,
back in the 80s.
Sean Cassidy's
or early
show.
90s.
Yeah,
was it Sean Cassidy's show?
Yeah, he wrote it. Jake was in it. Jake Weber.
Is that right? I know.
Yeah.
And who else was that? The kid that grew up and was in like Fast and the Furious and a couple of Deborah did a movie with Lucas Black.
Lucas Black.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And but Sarah played like a ghost.
She's always
she was a ghost from that. I remember she was a teenager or something.
She was a good ghost.
She was a good ghost. The show only lasted like a season, but I really liked the show.
I did too. I remember. I was jealous about Jake being on that show.
Yeah, and I remember just every time she would pop up, I'm like, yeah, it's that girl from American Gothic. I can't see her without thinking of American Gothic.
That's funny.
But yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
What did you guys ever think about like doing a play yourselves? Like, all right, let's spend some time in New York and do a play together and put something up?
I guess I haven't thought of that. Yeah. I need to have a good theatrical experience.
You do. He's had
last few fours have been challenging. And
yes.
I feel like I can get treated like shit on a bad TV show and get paid well at least,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tricky, it can be a real precious community if it's not careful. There's a lot of great, most of my great experiences have been on stage.
There was that moment. Wasn't there that moment that we were going to do Fool for Love?
In Williamstown or something like that?
Or something like that, Berkshires.
I feel like there was some talk about that, yeah.
Which was kind of fun. I mean, I would totally do another play with you.
Yeah. It'd be great.
We'd have to
Think of how much you'd learn.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That was a joke.
I'll direct you guys.
There you go.
I'll mediate.
Please, we need someone.
Are you gonna do it like
so
that?
Great. I'd go to that in a second. That's for sure.
Well,
you could play lovers.
Young lovers.
Well, thank you so much. Let me check on the time.
6 hours and 47 minutes.
Do you guys need
fascinating.
You guys need to get out of here. Where'd you guys come from today?
Manhattan, from Tribeca.
What was going on there?
That's where our apartment.
You stayed there. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I had. No. Today's literally been my first day of no calls and no work. So that's why I was like.
So we were just polishing our acting awards.
I texted you last night. I was like, let me do it now because we know that today's safe. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming by very much.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for letting me horn in.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy for me not to talk a little bit more about Daredevil.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, you die.
I do. But you can watch like 7 episodes before I die.
Yeah, and you were great in those. Did you jump into a Jessica Jones?
Well, yeah, they had her. My character did the last episode of that season. Was that season 1? Yeah, first season, last episode, and then that character carries over into Daredevil. So it was kind of like that.
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch that stuff.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So I guess you had an audition for that, I assume.
I did, and I think that was a self tape. There's been
from LA.
From LA. I put myself on tape, and then they got it from that, which is not too bad.
That's great.
Yeah, and that was the same with Blindspot. Just so all those actors out there who have to self tape and they're in a different state have faith. If you just be calm and do it, you can get jobs. Because I got Blindspot and Daredevil
we got
Mysteries
a little
of Laura
in our house in LA where we put a green screen up and we have a camera and everything. This whole little setup and the lights. And you've booked a lot, actually.
I
at that
have
little
doing
place.
self-tapes.
Really?
I haven't booked anything in that much. She has.
That's interesting.
She's good at it. She's really good at it.
So what was it like in your death scene where you got
blown away,
shooting and everything?
That's right.
What was that like? That
was kind of
just
fun.
Watching it was like, oh shit.
Well, from Michelle, it was the bittersweet of like, and this is my last day on set, so that was kind of bummy. But I really liked doing, having the squibs on me.
Yeah.
It was funny because the stunt guys were like, I think there was like six different squibs on me, and they were like, no, it's going to feel like a little bit of a flick or something, so no problem. I was like, okay, cool. No, it feels like a hot punch, like a heated punch. Yeah, I literally pulled up my shirt and I was like bruised. I was like,
like paintballs.
Yeah, they're basically paintballs on your body, like
Right.
already on your body. But I have to say, as sick as actors are, it's really good because you know how you watch movies and you see people get shot and they sort of do that whole thing. Because it's actually hurting.
Yeah.
It actually physically hurts. So you're like, ow. So I really
shocking, too,
And it's
actually.
shocking, even though you know it's going to happen. And like, whatever that line was, I put my hand out and that was like the cue for the squibs to go off. And I knew it was about to happen and it still sort of shocks you. But it was really, I love working with that group. They're delicious, Charlie and Deborah Ann. And they're all... The only thing that was bummy about working for them, Marvel, was that Marvel didn't realize that I'm actually a superhero.
What do you mean?
I am actually. Yes, come on.
Fun.
I have a unitard on right now.
You do. You look great.
Thank you. No, but yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
What do you get? Do you have like one take with all that stuff?
Yeah.
It's one take.
One take.
And it's rolling. There's no rehearsal.
No rehearsal. We rehearsed.
With the squibs,
right. There's no rehearsals with the squibs because there was
God.
600 or something. 600 or 300, I can't remember, squibs in the rest of the room.
Oh my God.
So if you remember that scene, it was just like, and all the glass was blowing. So there's just once we did one take. It was pretty cool.
That's scary.
I mean,
Don't fuck it up.
I know. Doing that and Blindspot, the stunts and stuff are just like the best. It's just, it's the stuff that like, as a little tomboy, it just makes me so happy and giddy that I still get to do it. And I'm just, I'm really thankful for that.
Did you ever have to do something with Garret with that type of stunts or squibs or whatever?
Yeah. There's a lot of squibs in Terminator.
Terminator stuff.
That's right, Terminator. That I love
Shot
that
to
one
hell
scene
on
when
that
you
thing.
come down the stairs in that like hotel type thing. And there's
right.
yeah, and you're like.
But then I think when they kill me,
Yeah,
it's like I had a very heavy shirt full of
squibs. Yeah. We love stunts. Do you like stunts?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I like fights. A bad fight can ruin a whole movie for me.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of comedy, Garret, but you also do like a lot of drama too. Mm-hmm. Do you?
Mostly, I think. Well, no, I guess maybe half and
It's half and
half.
half, really.
The
You balance
stuff I mostly know you from is, I'd say,
Raising Hope.
comedic.
Comedy, yeah.
It's a Mindy Project and stuff.
Right, that's right.
Do you seem to be a natural at the comedy? Do you enjoy it? Because you do real good characters and stuff.
I do. I mean, that's what I started in. It's funny you say that because most people it's the opposite.
They seem in scary stuff.
I did a lot of comedy pilots and a few things in the beginning of my career, and then I got Deadwood, and Deadwood spawned like a good decade of serial killers and rapists and whatever.
Right.
So I was getting tired of that, and I was like, we need to do some comedy as no one remembers I can do it, which was Raising Hope. I got, and I had to jump through so many hoops.
Right.
Because even those people were like, but he's a drama guy. Can he do comedy? And I was, and even by the second season of Raising Hope, I was auditioning for off-season projects. And they'd be like, well, but he's a comedy guy. Can he do drama? And I was just
insane. It's insane.
already? It's only been 2 years.
It's a bunch of jerks. Haven't they figured out that actors can sometimes do both?
It's so bizarre.
It's
funny,
funny,
so
but
weird.
I just think it's funny now.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't bother me, but it really bothered me at first. I was like, what do you got to do? Like, you've forgotten everything I've done?
Right. What isn't it that classic Eric LaSalle story about he had to dress up in doctor's squib outfit scrubs in order to get the job as a doctor?
We just don't see you as a doctor.
It's like, here, do you
now
see
do you
me
see me as a doctor?
So,
yeah.
Go save somebody.
Right, yeah.
Save a life.
I don't see it yet. Can you cut that person
Do you
out?
know
Go to
CPR?
medical school for 8 years.
I'm about to have a heart attack. Let's see you save me.
So what do you guys have coming up?
Well, I'm at
Still got
I
more
think it's
blind
okay,
spot.
right? I can say that.
You got more blind spot.
I do. I'm going to Thailand to do. Although I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. But yeah, I've got blind spot. I'm still blind spotting. Blind spot till the end.
Okay.
To the end of the season. So
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
We'll see what happens after that.
I'm waiting on Monsters of God and enjoying a little time off before
That's right.
that.
What do you guys like doing on your time off when you're together?
Go to movies.
We do love our movies, that's for sure.
movies.
Theater? Do you see theater?
We have. We've been
We've seen
going
a
to
lot
see a
of
lot of
theater.
theater of late.
What you've been seeing? I saw Hamilton finally.
Oh my God,
Oh, wow.
it's so good.
I haven't seen that
He
one.
hasn't
She
seen it. I
has.
saw it. Oh, it's so good.
Great.
It's so good. Like
Great.
from the first note, it's the best.
Awesome.
Dear Evan Hansen, really good. That's another one you should
wanna
go
see
see.
that.
It's really good. Color Purple, which is gone now, but I've seen it. I saw
gone
it
now?
twice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was so beautiful, so good. We saw Front Page. That's it.
Front page, we
Saw
saw.
that.
We just saw. What did we
that
just
thing
see?
at Lincoln Center.
Well, the Present,
Oh, we saw The Present, right?
and then
Kate Blanchett, Jack
the Richard
Nicholson.
Greenberg thing at Lincoln Center, which I can't remember the name of it right now. And then we just saw over at New York Theater Works.
Oh yeah, the
What's
fun
it called? It's a one-man show. It's very
one.
interesting.
You're in a storage unit and he's sifting through his memories. Like the whole place is, you're sitting on boxes.
And he kind of goes through the audience. And it's
Oh yeah, it's
The
on the tip of my
opinion-
tongue. The,
it's something with an the opinion.
The one-
I don't.
yeah.
But yeah, we I know,
Okay.
can't remember. But yeah, we try
Yeah.
to get as much as we can.
It's
Did
terrible.
you guys do musical theater? You guys singers?
I'm not a singer.
I've done a couple, but it was a long time ago.
That's not a preference. Musical
It just
theater.
wasn't what was presented.
If I could sing, I would do musical theater.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Just do theater.
Do you guys want to plug anything? Your Twitters or your websites or Instagrams or any of that stuff?
It's all just our names.
My Twitter is
Pretty much easy
it's
to find
Michelle
if you-
Hurd.
if you're into that
It's
sort of
Michelle
thing.
Hurd. Yeah.
We're sporadic at it.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't really Instagram. I look at Instagram, but I don't
Okay.
do anything on Instagram.
You have an account.
I do.
Okay.
Island Baby. Island
Okay.
Baby is, but I just don't do anything.
That's okay. We forgive you. We forgive you.
Can you believe it?
I can't believe it. Well, it was so good talking with you
Absolutely.
guys. And I'm glad you tagged along, Garrett.
Yeah.
It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Deborah
too.
went to a museum with you guys.
Yes, that's right.
And I was like, damn, I wish I went.
That's right. Well,
it
next
was
time.
fun.
It'd been cool
Next
to go.
time.
She's pretty lovely.
Yeah.
Deborah's great.
She's grand.
She is sick today.
Aw.
And she's working.
Oh,
a long
it's the
day.
worst.
She got picked up at like 4:30 or something. in the
It's
morning.
just there's no recovery in that.
Yeah.
It's just
She was texting me. She's like,
help.
I've never been this sick.
Oh, poor
Day of
thing.
work or something.
I hate that.
I was like, all right, hang in there.
Right.
I don't know what to
I
tell
did
you.
right. Sorry.
I have no advice.
Nothing. Can't do anything.
Nothing. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys.
you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yay.
There you go, folks. Thank you so much to Michelle and Garrett. It was such a cool hour for me to talk with those two. What good people. So go support them. Go watch the 100+ projects they've done in the past and all their future projects. And on their social medias and all that good stuff. Once again, for me on the social media, at EJ Scott, at EJ Podcast, EJScott.com, crowdrise.com/7on7 for the charities. Running Blind documentary on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. I'm on Instagram, EJScott1106. And that'll do it. So go subscribe to my podcast on iTunes. I'm on iHeartRadio now as well. So if it's easier to listen on that, please do so. And tell your friends and family. Go check out my past podcasts. And I hope you'll keep listening. Thanks so much.